Wax Lady, and I'm going to start part 3 a little different. You know, I started this series and, you know, I had like everybody in mind. I was trying to make it something that everyone could possibly relate to, like everyone in the beauty industry, whether you're doing hair or doing nails, or maybe if you're not in the industry, you're doing like MLMs or any kind of customer service or business building when it's just yourself. And I started to kind of like overcomplicate it for myself, really, and I kept thinking through my notes, and you know, I even took some time before I wanted to do this because I needed to make something really clear. So this is part 3, but I'm actually going to show this one first because I feel like there's some information you need to know before going through the rest of this, okay? So, it's going to be kind of like Star Wars, and we're just going to do it all out of order, so I apologize. I have been in the business for, well, since 2005. And so these videos, they're really more about little tips and things that I learned along the way. Some things that I felt were like huge for my business. And I'm hoping that you can just kind of relax and maybe pick up a few pieces, and hopefully it kind of helps your business too. So I'm trying not to take myself like too seriously through this whole thing, but you know, 16 years in the business, there's been a lot of ups and downs, and obviously some different paths that I've taken, and it hasn't been until like the last couple of years that I've really focused and honed in. And it's amazing when you put yourself under a lot of pressure, how you can kind of look at your business differently and see the transformation and really push and really hustle. So, you know, whenever you watch some of these, just know where my heart's coming from. And I think I'm gonna talk more about my business specifically, and you just need to kind of use your imagination and see how you can implement that in your business, okay? I can watch stuff about IT marketing with my husband and pick pieces out of that from watching them build their businesses into mine, and it's just amazing how you can use any information to grow, okay? So I really wanted to kind of touch on that before we continued in this series. So part 3 is about planning and measuring productivity, and you know, we talked about which, if you're watching this first, whatever, but we talked about picking a path, and we talked about the importance of setting goals. And a goal without a plan is just a wish, okay? You have to have a plan. And planning is a huge part of the success of my business. Every weekend I sit down and I take an hour to think about the next 2 months. I'm always planning for the 2 months out, and you should really keep that in mind too, because then you see what's coming. You can kind of get ahead. So every weekend I take 1 hour, I sit down, I'm like, what holiday is coming up? You know, like Valentine's. I was ready for Valentine's 2 months before Valentine's ever happened. And that's really important because you have to have that vision, you have to have that goal, and then you can put the pieces in play, and when it all comes together, it's perfect. So that first 30 minutes, I'm sitting down, I'm maybe covering what kind of newsletter that I want to put together, what kind of weekly posts I want to put together. In the last 15 minutes, what I do is I look at my schedule. Used to, I would post the upcoming 2 weeks of my schedule on Facebook, on social media. And a lot of people are like, well, why do you do that? Because you have Square, and people can just go to your site and they can make appointments. And it's incredibly important that you stay in front of people constantly. So I have a post that's like, here's my upcoming 2 weeks, which right now I'm having to do, here's my upcoming 6 weeks, because I've been booked out about 6 weeks in advance. And so anytime there's a change, I change it a little bit, or I add the openings, or I let people know. So I'm just gonna use 2 weeks as an example because it'll be a little bit easier for me. So I'll post, you know, here's what my next 2 weeks look like. Here's the openings that I have, and then I post that immediately on a Sunday. And my clients see that, they're like, oh crap, that's right, I need to get in this week. Boom, they plug themselves in. They either text me or they jump on the schedule real quick, put themselves in. But I guarantee you, because I put that one post, I maybe got like 8 more clients on the schedule than I would have had if I hadn't said anything. And it sounds a little tedious, but I actually update that post every day throughout the week. So Monday morning, I come in 30 minutes before everyone else, before my clients come in, make sure I'm all set up and ready to go. But I sit down and I look at my schedule for the day and like, what's changed? Did somebody cancel last minute? With COVID, you know, we have last minute cancellations happening all the time. But you shouldn't just be like, oh crap, you know, Sally canceled. You need to be hustling and get on there and say, hey, guess what? My 11:15 opened up. Who wants to take it? And they're going to jump on it. Okay. You will see this happen time and time again. I've coached girls on doing this, making this part of their routine. And everybody, if you make an extra $40, $50, $100 a day because you just made one post, that's, you know, $500 a week at the end of the week. That's going to make a huge difference. But you have to have a plan. And I even have, in my planning, I have like my to-do list. So I'm a list person. I don't know about you, but I will like have my to-do list. And then if I even do something and it wasn't on my to-do list, like I gotta put it on there just so I can put a check mark next to it. Don't act like you don't do that. There's like several of you who do that too, and it just feels so satisfying, right? But it kind of keeps you in line. Like, these are the top 3 things that I have to get done today that have to be put through the newsletter, updating my posts. When you put your Sunday post out, updating it Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning takes you maybe 2 minutes. It's just looking at your schedule, making the little adjustments. But also people will start seeing like, oh crap, she's booking up really fast, I better get on there. And that's, I think, why I'm booked 6 weeks out, because people start seeing like, all right, you know, she's not going to be available for very much longer, so I need to get a couple of those in. For me, I have used, it's me by myself, okay? I have girls here in the office, but they're running their own business and we just kind of work together. But for myself, I really enjoy Square marketing and the Square app. I used it for my credit card reader. I'll add a link in our discussion today with my notes in case I forgot anything. But I'll add a link on there so that you can check it out yourself. But it made a massive difference, because I was that girl who had my paper planner, and I'm carrying this paper planner around with me, and it's a pain in the butt. You're erasing people's names, putting stuff in. Sometimes you don't have your book on you. And then at the end of the year, when you got to figure out taxes, you're like, holy crap, I got to, you know, go through and count all this up. And marrying somebody who's in IT, when we were dating, he was looking at me going like, why are you doing this on paper? You need to be doing this digitally. And I'm like, well, I'm not that big of a deal. Like, this is so much easier. Then I have to learn all of this, you know, tech stuff. And he said, well, how do you know what your numbers are? How are you measuring that productivity that you are making? Like, and knowing what your numbers and that you're growing and staying on track. And I said, I just wax Brazilians, you know, like, it's not that big of a deal. And he's like, it is a big deal. So once he kind of taught me that the importance, I won't lie, like, I got the appointment book and digital appointment book, and I kept my paper one. And I was going back and forth and doing both because I just couldn't let go of my paper scheduler, which finally, like a binky, I just like weaned myself off that thing. And it was the best thing I could have ever done, because with Square marketing, you know, Square appointments, it's free. If you're using their credit cards, it's free. Then they have a marketing app that you can use, or marketing software, and it's $35 a month. And it's, I think with the appointments, you already get text messages. So it's sending text messages and emails to your clients to remind them of their appointments, which is huge. Can be a little bit annoying for them sometimes, but so is them no showing and forgetting that they had an appointment, okay? But I like their marketing app or marketing software as well, because they'll send out birthday emails to give them $5 off, to remind them to come in. They have all sorts of campaigns and templates that you can follow. I try to send out a newsletter once a month, and I usually keep it pretty funny. I'll tell them a funny story that happened, or I just try to make it fun. And I give them any updates of like events that we're going to be having. With the emails, once you send an email out and you have like a book appointment here, like it's a little button that you can create, and they can click on there and it takes them straight to your schedule so that they can book an appointment. I can send out an email, and I mean, I've had close to 50 people book an appointment just off of that one email. And even though it goes out to like 2,000 of my contacts, 50 versus nothing is a massive difference. So staying in front of your clients, of your audience, people who will be following on you for social media. I mean, I have clients who said, man, I've been following your Facebook page for like a year now, and I finally feel comfortable about just doing it and getting it over with. And then they come in and they're like, I can't believe I put this off for so long. People are watching it, and so if you stay in front, continue to show a presence with them, you'll keep people coming in the door, okay? And that only happens if you are doing some careful planning. So it's like you happen to go to the gym a couple of times a week. It is a habit or a routine that you have to form, and once you start doing it, you get this flow, and it's just so easy, and it makes a huge difference. Okay. And once you start measuring your productivity as well, seeing those numbers, for instance, like on the dashboard for the Square, when you first log in, it'll say, here's where you are for the last 30 days. Well, it shows this week, I think I have my numbers on here, that I had 452 clients in the last 30 days, and 46 of those were new clients. And seeing that difference over the years, and if I see those numbers fall, that's whenever I kind of take a step back and go like, okay, what's going on? Where do I need to make the adjustment? But focusing on your schedule, and knowing that, like, well, let me see. If you are working and you all of a sudden have gaps in your schedule, that's not where I go, okay, well, I'm going to go to Target, or I'm going to read or watch videos or do whatever. If I'm sitting at my desk and I'm present and I'm here and I have an empty spot, that's when I'm doing my marketing. That's when I'm hustling. That's when you get on and you send out the email or you post. You know, a lot of people just give up so quickly, and a lot of people want to know how I grew such a strong business, and it's because I hustled and I had that fire and I just kept pushing and going for it. So when you put your focus on that schedule and on that planning, you'll really watch your numbers start to grow. So I hope that that this kind of helps put a fire under your bed a little bit. I don't want to come off as like really harsh or like go crazy, but that's what it takes. You know, a lot of people want to go like, man, I love this office, I love what you're doing, how do I do that? And I'm like, man, you fight for it and you hustle for it. So I hope that you picked up a couple of good tips today. Thanks for watching.